Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the epic, chronological evolution of the single most watched sporting event on the planet. I'm talking about that monumental tournament that literally unites nations and makes time stand still. We're going to explore the incredible history of the World Cup, a spectacle that glues billions of us to our screens and genuinely causes entire countries to declare public holidays. From mind-blowing records and, believe it or not, stolen trophies, to the unmatched drama right there on the pitch, we're going to unpack all the secrets. So if you're ready, let's head back to where the legends were actually born. So let's just dive right into this. You've got to wonder, what actually makes 6.1 kilograms of gold the ultimate dream for literally billions of people? I mean, physically, it's just a solid block of gold, right? But far beyond its dizzying material value, which sits at around $20 million, by the way, it carries this incredible emotional weight. It's forged in the sweat and tears of generations, making billions of hearts beat to the exact same rhythm. But how exactly did a simple football tournament turn into this massive, unstoppable global phenomenon?
Well, it's an epic journey that essentially tracks the modern era of humanity. We start in 1930 with its birth in Uruguay, look at its post-World War II return in 1950, the introduction of the iconic Gazzaniga Trophy in '74, all the way to the massive 32-team modern format we all know today.
Section 1. Birth of a Phenomenon. You know, almost every great story kicks off with some massive conflict. And looking at the World Cup's origins, it was actually born out of a colossal power struggle. The crucial point here is that the Olympic Committee strictly demanded that athletes remain pure amateurs, no compensation whatsoever. But football was already exploding into a massive industry with paid professionals. Right in the middle of this crisis, FIFA president Jules Rimet stepped up. He had this brilliant vision for an independent tournament where professional players could just play without restrictions. This rebellious move broke them free from the Olympics and planted the seed for the very first World Cup. So the calendar hits 1930 and Uruguay gets the nod to host history's first tournament. But get this, football didn't have the insane global infrastructure it has now. For the European teams, just getting there was an absolute mission. They actually boarded a ship called the Conte Verde and endured an exhausting 15-day oceanic journey. And the most chaotic part of this whole historical first tournament, there wasn't even a standard ball. In the final between Argentina and Uruguay, both teams demanded to use their own ball. The solution? They played the first half with Argentina's ball and the second half with Uruguay's. Completely chaotic, but absolute history in the making. Section 2. The Jules Rimet era and early chaos. Now, back then, the Golden Globe we instantly recognize today didn't exist. The original prize was just called Victory before taking on Jules Rimet's name. It was the stunning Art Deco design by a French sculptor named Abel Lafleur, depicting Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. Crafted from gold-plated silver on a lapis lazuli base, it weighed just 3.8 kilograms. So while its literal material value might have been low compared to today, its emotional weight for those nations, absolutely immeasurable. All right, fast forward to 1950. The tournament makes its post-World War II return, and we hit one of the most chilling moments in sports history. The final is in Brazil's legendary Maracanã Stadium. The hosts, Brazil, are the absolute unquestioned favorites. But when Uruguay scores to win it 2-1, just imagine the deafening, completely deathly silence of 200,000 spectators standing in that stadium. The Maracanazo proved once and for all that football is never just a game. It can literally break the heart of an entire nation. The decades that followed became an absolute masterclass of shattered records. In 1954, Switzerland hosted the highest-scoring tournament ever. We're talking a mind-boggling 140 total goals, including a wild 7-5 victory for Austria over the hosts. Then 1958 brings an unbeatable goal record. A 17-year-old Pelé debuts, and France's Just Fontaine scores 13 goals in a single tournament. No one has touched that since. And by 1966, England's Geoff Hurst made ultimate history, becoming the first player ever to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final. Just staggering human feats. But hey, while all this magic was happening on the pitch, the trophy itself was living like an action movie star. Right before that 1966 World Cup in England, the Jules Rimet trophy was actually stolen. International crisis mode, right? Well, a black and white dog named Pickles saved the day. He sniffed out the cup, wrapped in newspaper under a hedge. Tragically, though, the original cup's luck ran out. After Brazil won it permanently in 1970, it was stolen again in 1983 and sadly lost forever. Section 3. A masterpiece in gold. With the original cup relegated to history, FIFA desperately needed a new symbol for 1974. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive evolution of the tournament. We go from the tragic, vulnerable fate of the original Jules Rimet Cup to this heavily guarded, profoundly symbolic modern masterpiece crafted by Italian sculptor Silvio Gazzaniga. You have to hear Gazzaniga's own words on his design philosophy. He said, "I wanted to create a dynamic representation of an achievement that could express harmony, simplicity, and peace, depicting two athletes holding up the earth." I mean, this wasn't just about athletic victory anymore. It was forged to symbolize exactly what humanity can achieve when it comes together, really highlighting the universal, unifying power of world sports. And man, the physical specs of this thing are just as staggering. This masterpiece is solid 18-karat gold. It stands 36.8 centimeters tall and weighs exactly 6.1 kilograms. Plus, those 2 layers of green malachite on the base? Such a stunning visual contrast. With an estimated value of $20 million, it's actually so precious that winning countries aren't even allowed to take the real thing home. They get a gold-plated replica, while the true masterpiece stays strictly locked down by FIFA. Section 4. The Modern Football Era. Let's move to the modern era and see how this all builds up. When you mix this iconic new trophy with the high-octane tactical drama of modern football, you get absolute legends. Think 1986, Maradona's infamous, totally controversial hand of God goal, followed right away by that mesmerizing solo run. Then jump to 1994, the heartbreaking sight of Italy's brightest star, Roberto Baggio, head-bowed after missing the most crucial penalty in the final. Or 2014, when Miroslav Klose shattered records to become the top goal scorer in history while Germany just dominated. The modern era is just packed with these incredible highs and totally devastating lows.
Section 5. The Ultimate Global Prize.
Now, what's really interesting about all of this is what happens when you strip away the stats. Behind the iconic goals and the bitter tears lies one profound truth. This trophy doesn't hold any single country's flag. It is literally the purest physical manifestation of human resilience and global joy. Take 2022, for example. When Lionel Messi finally lifted that cup, carrying the massive weight of his entire nation, he said the feeling was so incredible that everything else just falls short. For a player's soul, touching that 6.1 kilograms of gold is the absolute summit of existence. So we've tracked this completely epic evolution, from a rebellious, totally chaotic match in Uruguay back in 1930, all the way to the colossal modern spectacle that brings billions of us to a synchronized standstill. We've seen historic records shattered, stolen trophies turning into urban legends, and players' names etched in gold for eternity. But the ball is rolling toward the next generation now. As we look out over the horizon, which mind-blowing, legendary moment do you think will define the next chapter of the World Cup? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we will definitely catch you in the next one.